Welcome to the Top 200 podcast with your host, Herschel Foran.
Hey, what's up everybody? Herschel Foran from High School Top 200, and this is the Monday morning meeting. Welcome everyone back. It's good to be back for the first week of rankings, where everything counts and everything becomes really important from now, because everyone's starting their first games of the season for their competitions, things like that. And so yeah, it's really good to get a start to the season, like an honest, true start of the season. No more preseason games or anything like that. Before we start though, as always, we've got to go through liking and sharing this page on YouTube, especially on Facebook and Instagram, High School Top 200 or HS Top 200, or the Instagram is at the real HS Top 200 because someone else took it and I can't get it back. I don't know who's got it, but yeah, make sure you like and subscribe, share it around to all your friends. Everyone, please go sign up for the website, hstop200.com. $5 subscription. Please save that coffee money for at least one day of the month, and just go in and get a subscription for all the first 15 information, all the first 15 knowledge and info from around the country, from all the first 15s around the country. Jump onto hstop200.com, subscribe. I promise you it'll be awesome. You'll be able to learn about a lot of the players that are coming through, all the young boys that are putting in so much effort. It's well worth it. It's only $5. Don't upsize that Mac Attack combo, or stay away from your coffee for maybe your brunch. No, actually everyone wants their morning coffee, I'm guessing. I don't drink coffee, so I don't know, but sacrifice one of your coffees for the day and sign up to hstop200.com. I promise you it'll be worth it. And this is a place where you get all first 15 information that you may be looking for, from scores and from different highlights. If you follow all the pages, you'll get different information on all different pages, because I like to share stuff that comes straight from schools, so that other schools would know how other schools are doing, or what they're doing, or how they're looking, things like that, and being able to share this information around with everybody. Also that like in terms of information, right? And this is why I do this. This is first 15, and I explain this a lot, but I feel like I keep having to explain it because there are a lot more new people to the channel, and new people coming on to check it out to see what it's about, or just new parents that are signed up because their sons have now made first 15, things like that. But there is no other first 15 rugby platform in New Zealand right now that does anything about first 15 rugby except for myself. Now that Sky, and this is pretty sad, now that Sky is not doing first 15 games anymore from I think I read it last week or the week before, and they talked about the revenue and stuff like that, because Auckland, because the 1A said no, we're not doing games, they pretty much gave it up. And they said it's just not worth it. Money wise, it's not worth it. Now I have a different opinion about this, because I feel like they are not putting their resources and the talents that they have into the right places in terms of making sure that this becomes resourceful. For instance, like nobody ever sees any kind of highlights at all from most rugby games. Like I mean, I love the Chiefs hard out, and from a game of 80 minutes, they can only come up with like 5 different highlights that they will post up online. Like only 5. And it's so strange that Sky Sports with a country that we have, and this is why I wish they would hire me. They should hire me. I'll come in and change that stuff. Because I'll give different highlights for all the sports that they have, for every single game. Like, just coming up with new and different ways of watching sports, because everything is done differently now. But for me, I find that they are doing it just the same way all the time, and they're just basing it off the fact that they're going to be live. And that's not always the case, that people aren't living that life anymore. But those that do miss it should be able to catch some of it on live. Now, I'm not saying put the whole game on live. That's not what I'm saying at all. Like, if you look at what the NBA do with their games and their stories, every game has pretty much their own story, where you can just tap it through and they'll have 30 different highlights for 4 quarters, and it keeps people in touch with the game, and it keeps people going back to their platform. Now, Sky just doesn't do stuff like that, and then I don't understand why. And to me, it's like they don't want to put any money or resources into their social media team, but that's where everything is going right now. Now, if that was me, in terms of like First 15 Rugby, because I love First 15 Rugby, I would still have the games going on. Don't worry about the 1A. If they don't want to do that, that's fine. We still got the Super 8, we still got the CNI, we still got North Harbour. Like, why not go to North Harbour and like Westlake Boys, who's one of the top teams this year, why not go and film them? You know, why not go to, Rosemary and Whangarei just had a massive game up north, and which ended 8-10, 10-8, something like that, to Rosemary. And such a game, like, why wouldn't they record that and then fill up all their social media with First 15 Rugby stuff that they have? I mean, there's so many different things that you can do with social media, but it feels like Sky don't want to do that, and they don't want to recoup, you know, what they're not making of subscriptions. But that's got nothing to do with rugby. That's Sky going down even before that. But I don't understand why they don't want to put more money into it, and then also go another route with the way that the world is watching even live sports. Like, why aren't they doing stuff like that? Like, I feel like the Blues have a really good social media team of what they're doing as well with their advertising and stuff. Like, I think Sky have got to do that as well. Like, I don't know why they don't do a First 15 Rugby with a bunch of guys, with all these young fellas coming through who don't earn money yet, who don't have bills, who don't have jobs and all that kind of stuff. And if that was me, I would invest all my money into that age group, and to set a memory or a bit of nostalgia of what Sky Sports did for them when they were at high school, that when they do start earning money, they would pay it back by actually subscribing and stuff. So for me, like, I would work it from that angle. I actually don't know why, but I mean, they're missing out on so many games with, you know, the CNI Super 8, the Wellington competition down there in Christchurch with the Miles Toyota Championship, the Otago Championship 2. There were so many different teams, but they just focused just on that 1A, based on the fact that they don't, to me, I just feel like they don't want to move around, you know, their satellite van or bus that they have, and, you know, things like that. I just feel like they're missing out on the value and First 15 Rugby, and I know that they don't see it. I know that they don't see it, or else it wouldn't be a problem. It wouldn't be a problem for them. And so, you know, I wish that they would look at it more and would go more social media side of it, because then we would get a lot more content coming out of it. And, you know, breaking down the 80 or 70 minute game in terms of content, you can get so much out of it. I mean, the other side of it too is that, like, if you do interviews before and after, showing them warm up, little things like that, so you can promote the school, you can promote the sport, you can promote the department, you can promote you know, what the school is representing and what they do at that school. Not all schools, just because they have a good rugby team, not all schools is about rugby. Like a lot of them have all these other different projects that they have coming out within their school that they can also highlight as well. Ask the boys what other stuff that they do within their school so they can promote other stuff that's going on in their school too. I just don't understand why they don't come up with all this stuff themselves and they don't see the value in it. If they would get their social media, side popping off a lot more by basing it around stuff like that. And I'm not just talking about rugby. I'm also talking about other college sports too. Like the basketball program's going big now. They're getting a lot more people sent over to the States for Division 1, 2, and 3 basketball over there. Why not start doing that so we can start promoting our players that way, getting them sent over there, getting a lot of attention coming back. And, cricket's another one of IPL blowing up and a lot of boys looking at it at IPL and going, oh, that's something that I want to pursue, rather than go the other route. You're just like, oh, I've got a new avenue of doing it, so why not go there? I'm just confused. I'm confused, and I would really be keen to know what their reason is around it, because I feel like I can help in that way in promoting high school sports and just sports in general. I feel like, because I watch so much of it and I consume so much of it, all week, not just with rugby, with basketball, with football, with college basketball and football, with athletics, and I watch some swimming. I watch the stuff that comes on YouTube as well. I watch a lot of South African rugby high school, and I like the way that they do it, because they've just built this tradition in it. I think like if Roland Mills was still around, they would do the same thing. But Ross Shield would be another one that I think a lot of people would watch if they had it televised. And people are so sensitive and touchy around the fact that, oh, you're filming a kid, but it's like, yeah, we're filming a kid in context. We're not filming a kid, just him like walking around the shop. I was like, yeah, that's creepy and shady as hell. But not of one that's like partaking in sports and something that's happy and that's going to be a memorable thing to them, where they can actually go back on YouTube and find highlights when they were young kids and all that kind of stuff too. I mean, look at all these guys that played early, and when Sky started, a lot of them are like in their 30s and stuff like that. They can actually go back and watch when they were at school. That's why I don't understand this. Is it's like they should be doing stuff like this, and it's really heartbreaking the way that it's turned out and the way that it's turning out right now. And I wish other I guess media production companies would jump into something like this and start building it. Like I was thinking, man, what if I just sent out a message to all the sports directors, all the rugby directors around the country, and said, I'm going to set up a YouTube page that you can upload your games to, and people can just watch your games. People can watch your talent. And I'll be interested to see how much attention it gets when we don't have any rugby games going on. And seeing how many kids want to go and watch other kids that they have ranked up against, and other parents that have seen their kids ranked up against others, or watching nephews, or watching people from overseas that are keen to watch first team rugby but they got no way else to watch it. There'll be another one, and I would just share the hell out of every single game, and with permission from schools, I would get someone to come in and just cut highlights of every single game. I would be interested to see what, and I was just thinking about that today, because I was thinking, man, there's nowhere else where you can watch first 15 rugby. And I get to watch them because people add me to their pages of like huddle pages or VO, or some of them, the best one is that people that highlight, that have private school pages for their rugby, and then they just send me the link and I get to watch it. I love that too. I think that's like the easiest and best way, and that's for like parents that don't want to sign up to an extra whatever, and everyone's got YouTube, so you just send them the link and they can just watch it, and they can't share it or anything like that, but at least they get to watch the game. I would like it if everyone sent their game or uploaded their game to this one YouTube page so that everyone can see it. And it doesn't matter what level of rugby you're at in first 15. It's just like all first 15 games, boys and girls. I wonder how good that would be. I wonder how successful that would be and how much people would come on and view it. And like I said, if there was people that were willing to do it and they gave me permission to, cut highlights of their games and put it on the YouTube pages as well, and see how many views it gets and how much attention it gets, because that's what a lot of people are going to be missing this year. It's first team rugby, and it's not the players and it's not the coaches that are deciding this stuff, because they want their boys to be seen. They want the school programs and the school to be promoted, to be given exposure out there and to be promoted to everybody else. And for all those kids that are looking at going to high schools next year, that's another one that I feel a lot of school misses out on. A kid can easily fall in love with a school if they just watch, a rugby game of theirs and go, oh, I want to go to a school like that. So like, it's pretty sad. I think it's pretty sad of what's going down now, and just the way that it's been treated. Just because one competition bails out, everybody else is not given that same, is not given, an opportunity to go, well, hold on, what about us? What about everybody else? And if you think about it, it comes down to like, I don't even know if they're showing the top 4. That's like another thing I'm not too sure. It's like, are they showing the nationals? Because like, if you get to the nationals and then you got like 4 teams that show up and you go, these are the top 4, like everyone goes, oh, well, we don't know. That's why pages like mine are important. And like, it'll be gutting, like, and I didn't think about it because I made my decision before they did. But if I didn't do this year, there would be nothing on first 15 rugby at all. There would be nothing around the country. Like, no players will get talked about, no players will get seen, no teams will get talked about, no teams' efforts will all be sort of not a waste, because you still get to get the enjoyment out of winning your competition, but no one will know about it. No one will be able to see your success and hear about your success. And that's what makes me sad about like just the way that it's been going down. And there's got to be something more, right? There's got to be something more to this that they can do about this. So I'm going to go through some of the games. Like, I always do this kind of thing as well. And so my trip on Saturday was so hard. I don't know if I'll do that again. And like I said in my video, I worked the full night from 9 to 5 in the morning, because that's the hours that I work. I work 9 to 5 at 9 p.m. to 5 a.m. Then I drove straight away from there to Hastings. Then I watched all those games, and then I drove all the way back to get back in time for work again. I got back at about 7 o'clock, went and had a shower and stuff. And then I went straight back to work, and then I finished at 5 in the morning on Sunday morning. And I hadn't had any sleep. Lucky I didn't fall asleep at work too. I was like, oh. But those last 2 hours was tough. But I always have a lot of fun at like going out to watch games. And it was worth it. It was just hard. It was just a hard thing to do. And again, I don't know if I'll do that again. But I want to talk about some teams. So the first one I want to talk about is Auckland Grammar. And Auckland Grammar, and they know this too, like after having such a bad year last year, or should I say the last few years, it just hasn't worked out the way that Auckland Grammar Rugby is used to, sort of going. And they had such a good preseason. They had a really good preseason in terms of, beating Rotorua, beating what's their name? They beat Rotorua. They beat was Christchurch boys, beat Otago, and then just lost. And I was thinking to myself, that's the preseason that you really want. That's the kind of preseason that you're looking forward to. And I think with a school like Auckland Grammar and what you want, the way that they had been playing, and what they had been going through, is exactly what they wanted for the season. But then Tuesday hit, and they played New Plymouth boys, and they lost. And then they started their season on Saturday for the 1A against De La Salle, and they lost again. Now, it's not about. I don't think I've given up. Like, been ranking them pretty high, right? And it's not that I've given up on them, because I know how much, I know what good players that they have. I know the good players that they have. But they have to show up. They have to show up in these games. They have to get rid of the mentality of they're a building team. And at some point, you just gotta understand that we are the built team, and sort of have that confidence that we are the built team. I think, and the pressure to me for this team has to fall back on their better players and the ones that lead. Like Junior's another one is one of those guys that lead this team. Finn is another one who even as a year 12, he's another one that I think is one of their leaders in their team. Ethan Hall definitely is, Lewis definitely is, Monty definitely is, and those kind of boys. Charlie's another one where those boys have to get to their players in their heads and go, this is your role, this is what we're expecting of you, and this is how we're going to win if we all do our roles and everyone stays in their position, and have that expectation that this is what Auckland Grammar Rugby is all about. Now, having 2 losses in a week is not an easy thing to turn around. And I don't know what discussions they're having, but I feel like Monty probably has to go back to first 5. I know that he's been playing first 5 and halfback, and he played halfback on Saturday, but I feel like he's probably better at first 5 for the team, like right now. And I think that there is going to be a lot of pressure on him. He's a young year 13 as well. If he wanted to, he would still be under 18s next year. But I think a lot of it will rest on him in terms of how this season goes, and depending on where he plays. And the pressure is going to be on him, and the support has to come from those other boys like Lewis. Even though Lewis is the captain, and he does a lot of the work. Him and Ethan probably take, and I like that combination that they have of Junior, Ethan, and Lewis for 6, 7, and 8. I like that combination that they have. And then they had Finn and Logan and at locks. I feel like that's probably the best 4 to 8 that you could get out of that school, and I think it's the right mixture too of high athleticism and ability to do what they need to do. But they also need to back up the fact that Monty's the one that's going to have the pressure, and they just have to get him clean ball. They have to give him more support, more opportunities, and more options to play with when he has the ball in his hands. And I know that he can play 9, and I know that they have Rios, I think is the other kid as well. Oh, Rio, yeah. Is it Rios or Rios? But to me, it's Monty, and I would want my decision making coming from him at first 5 rather than anybody else in that team. So they have to dust this one off, and sort of take the loss. They have an easier game next week with Liston coming up, and so they need to sort something out. They need to get back to the drawing board kind of thing, and then go, okay, this is what we need to do again. Maybe the plan is fine, but execution may be a bit off. And to me, like, positioning was the other one. The number 1 team in the country, Sacred Heart, had their first game of the season as well, after all the preseason, and I just want to say Kings was not going to win this regardless, and they shouldn't. Kings is a really good school, but I think their supporters have got to understand that they are rebuilding, and not just to get down about the losses, but to see what great things that they're preparing for over the next 2 years, because Kings is going to be a problem next year with most of the team all coming back, and then the core of that team being year 11s this year and then year 12s next year are going to be the drive of that team, and should probably have a New Zealand Secondary School National Championship in 2 years, the way that they are rebuilding with this team. And Sacred Heart just did what Sacred Heart is supposed to do this year, and that was, fully have their way and manhandle them. And they did nothing wrong, but I liked the different things that I saw from Kings, and the ways of the spirits that they had with the ball in hand, and being able to create, when they could. Sacred Heart still remains the number 1 team in the country for me. Maybe by a long shot in terms of that. I mean, the Hamilton boys are going to wait for them to come back, see what they do, and see what happens with them. But in terms of rankings, it's like Napier boy, Sacred Heart is just right up there right now, and proved it. So the games I went to on Saturday, just to get those teams out of the way. So the first one that I watched was it was pretty interesting. Gisborne boys are such a new team and a new side this year. 16 new players in their team. A lot of year 12s. And leadership is minimum, and leadership is growing and learning too. And so I didn't expect that much from Gisborne boys. But the things that I did see, I did like. I really enjoyed the competitive nature that they had right through the whole thing. Because a lot of teams, when they get down, they give up. Gisborne boys didn't look that way. They were still trying to create. They were still trying to build phases on phases. And I think that team needs to not go game at a time for what works for them, but I think they need to go from whistle to whistle at a time to see where their growth is and where they can get better at. They need to slow down the process of their expectations and go, let's just take care of this from this whistle to this whistle, and let's start building from here. And between whistles, evaluate what we just did, give each other pats on the back where it's needed, give each other confident criticism, and be able to take whatever is said with the understanding that we're all here to grow. And again, they just don't have to have this this need to win. The need is to get better, and that's what I saw from Gisborne boys. From Silverstream, I think it's the first time in a long time that I've seen a Silverstream team that is probably not the top team in Wellington this year. I think that goes to Scots College. But they always seem to have the players to do it. And even though I think Scots is stronger, I still think Silverstream has a team that can beat them. And I think for me, and because their first five wasn't playing, I don't think Maui was playing, and so what I liked about them was that they were tough up front. They had a good front row that was physical enough to I guess win, not just win the scrums, but dominate even psychologically in the scrums, knowing that what they had. And then it just went on from there, and I think the team just knew what they had. Silverstream just knew what they had. They knew what their situation was, and they really took advantage of that, which is kind of what you want in the team as well. Is that when you know that you've got a team that is physically, not just physically stronger, but I guess got a lot more experience and talent on that side. You've got to know when to take your advantage on it on the other team, and that's where, to me, I felt like Jackson Mendoza did that, Braden Seal did that. I felt Elijah had a really good game. The other one was what was his name? David, I think it was David, was the other one that had a good game too in the backs. But I think that there was like a point in there where Silverstream just sort of switched over to auto drive, and then everything was just clicking, and then they just got out to this massive lead, and they just weren't able to fight it back. Silverstream is going to be a solid team, and they look like, to me, a team that's going to get better and better every game that they have, and they're not like at this peak or anything like that. They're just a growing team with some really good solid players in their team. Watching fielding, I think fielding was, because I watched halves, because there was 4 games. I couldn't just watch one full game and then miss out on, I don't know what teams, didn't want to miss out on any teams. And as I was watching the Silverstream and Gisborne game, all I heard from the other field was just cheering every almost 3 minutes. It was like a cheer, and fielding was just really putting it on St. Pat's Town. And St. Pat's Town is another one that's just like, they're just like Gisborne, where they've just got a bunch of new players, a bunch of guys that are still just learning, I guess. Solo Vaco is probably one of the better players on the day. He's done great in the off season. He looks really, really good and looks really fit. And he played really good. Maybe some of the stuff that he was doing, I could, care less with. Like there was a few times where he kept getting tackled and trying to, play the ball fast when maybe he didn't need to, and then knock-ons came, all that kind of stuff that happens. And I mean, that's just I guess desperation play, where he's trying to make a play and he's trying to make momentum and build momentum and create an opportunity for his team. And that's what you're supposed to do. So that's not the bad thing on him, that he shouldn't be doing that. It's just him picking the right times of when he does it. And that's being able to feel the defense around you, feel and be aware and recognize your situation that you're in, and what part of the field that you're doing it in, because you don't want to knock on the ball at a moment where they get to have a reset or like a scrum in the middle of the field or anything like that at halfway and things like that. And so I understand what he was doing. Some of that stuff is just about him learning about when you should and shouldn't do those kind of things. The other one I really liked was Ronnie Solfeni. I think he was the number 8, and I thought he had some massive runs too, and he really, really played well. And I hope they give him create more for him, and maybe give him some plays and opportunities so he can use his run game to get them ahead, because I think that's something that St. Pat's is really, really needing right now, is that some of that go forward, and Solo can't just do it by himself, but a lot of those guys have to jump in and help him out. Fielding is fielding. They control, they play at pace. They're a fit team, they defend. The second half wasn't great from them though, I've got to say that. And that's where teams like them have to learn that when you're ahead by that many in the first half, you still play the full game out and you still play with the same intensity, because you're going to come up against teams that are going to recognize what you're then letting them get away with, and then put on 3 tries when they probably shouldn't, and then sort of building something like that. And like, even if you win the game, the game score does not reflect how one-sided it could have been. And when you're in competition, people may not see the games, but they're going to see the score, and then they're going to judge you based off the score that they see. And so if you put a lot of fear in people's minds about, even if they don't see the game, but if they see something like 57-0, that's going to be a lot. That's going to be a lot to someone that's reading that and going, oh, they didn't even score a point, or they only scored 1 try, or they could only get kicks out of this game. People start imagining that stuff in their head. And so for all you teams out there that have big, massive leads, keep pushing that lead, because psychologically it's going to get to other guys as well when they come up against you and going to go, oh shoot, this team just doesn't let anything up. And that's the way that you should play, and that's the attitude that you should give to all these other teams that you're going to be playing against as well. Hastings boys was another one that's just so strong everywhere around the field. And I can't remember what his name is, but it's the guy with the headgear, the winger. I think he was the number 11. Man, he was so quick for Hastings, and just so fast getting out there. And they just played so smart. Isaiah played so smart. Front row was just massive. Sean Oscar played real good. Tolfa played real good. Missy was the other one that played really good too. And it's going to be a struggle for a lot of teams, if you let Hastings control this game, if you let Hastings control the game, they're really, really going to dominate you. And they're at that point right now that if they keep going the way that they're going now, I think that Hastings is going to be the Super 8 champions with the way that they're building right now, and with the team that they have, the players that they have. Looks like they have a lot of belief in the way that they play, and they didn't let up against Wellington as well. And this is going to be a weird one for Wellington to travel home with and think about, and for them to actually start to rebuild off this. I think it would have been better if they played Hastings first and then played Gisborne after. But to have a scoreline like that just before your season starts, that's a weird sort of, kick in the guts. And lucky they have a strong coaching staff that they will know what to say and know how to motivate and know how to get the boys back to forgetting what this game was and just, starting off their season right. Rongotai was kind of like that. Rongotai actually surprised me. I think Rongotai is a lot better team that they think that they are, and I think Rongotai maybe has commitment problems with some of the players that don't want to take it serious, or whatever it may be, because they are a really good side. I just see a lot of weaknesses and holes in their games that are not unfixable. They're just real real team things, I think. Where you've got some guys who will fight over the ball for the ruck, and if they just had one more guy jump in and help that one dude out, they would be winning a lot more ball. But they've got a lot of strength in their side. They've got a lot of ball hawks in their team, where they've got a lot of guys that just hunt for tackles and they make good one-on-one tackles. They've got a lot of guys that are willing to put their body on the line to get over and try and steal that ball and jackal the ball. But it's like so it's like when one person's doing something, no one supports him, but they're watching him sort of win, and instead of going, oh shoot, I better jump in and help him right now, they're gonna go, it's almost like they're cheering. They're like, yeah bro, get it. It's like, bro, add your shoulder into that so that you guys can win that ball. It's like things like that, because even when they got into little breaks, when they would break tackles, they would string passes together, and then it just falls just before, at the 15 meter line, 10 meter line, 5 meter line, little things like that. But they would make these breaks. Now those kind of things to me are fixable. Those kind of things are team things. Just because you see them get a runaway, it doesn't mean go, yeah bro, run. It's like, oh shoot, I better be the second, third, fourth man in, or maybe even the fifth man, because if he gets tackled and there's a ruck and we win the ruck, I gotta pass it to somebody. Hopefully my mate has the same thought that I did and goes, oh shoot, I better jump on as well, just in case. All of this just in case stuff, it was wasn't in their head. They were just it was like they were just playing just to go, bro, let's go for a trip to Hastings and jump on this bus and have a game. But they're a talented team. It's like a talented team that doesn't realize how talented they are, and they just need to put some effort, I guess, in their trainings and in commitment side of things. And I thought they were really good. I really had. I didn't know what to expect of what kind of Rongotai team that was coming, and I looked at them. I thought, oh, this is not bad. I don't get that. This is a side that can actually win games. I'm just like wondering if this is a side that wants to win games. Maybe that's the other thing. And that's why I said maybe it's a commitment, a team commitment thing where some players turn up, others don't turn up. Some guys come late and they're just like, the guys that are joking around. Like most of the time when you go to like big schools that are really committed to rugby, nobody is late, nobody is playing around, nobody is making jokes, nobody is, making excuses and stuff like that. They've all got this commitment to it, and it was all about rugby and making sure that as a team, they're all there and they're all in for it. And that's the big difference between all these sides. But yeah, Palmy just played like Palmy does, and Rongotai surprised me, and they're not far off it. And I don't know what it is that they're going to start doing, but I hope that they get it together. St. Kennigan's at number 6, they won against Liston College, and Liston College is another one that's kind of new to trying to put it together. I knew Wairarapa was a good team this year. I actually think that they're a lot better than what I think they are, and them only just losing 24-17 to Scots College is a pretty big deal. Wesley College coming up with a big win over Rotorua Boys. Rotorua Boys is definitely going to fall in the rankings along with Auckland Grammar. Wesley's going to shoot up again, and this is the second time Wesley's won against a Super 8 team, because they beat Tauranga Boys as well. So I know that everybody is back from last year. Well, there's like 2 or 3 that finished school, but Wesley's got everybody coming back. Joey's the leader of that team, and most definitely a guy to watch out for at number 8. But yeah, that team looks like they've got something going. Christchurch beat Southland Boys 38-22, which was massive. Tauranga Boys beat St. Paul's, which makes it interesting as well for what the CNI is going to become, or how that's going to work out with all the teams, and the Chiefs regions are all really strong. With Wesley, St. Paul's, St. Peter's, and St. John's, and then along with Fielding, then Whanganui Collegiate. Francis Douglas is the other one that I think is a lot better than what I saw them play against Palmy. CNI is going to be a hard competition to win a game in, and every game, mostly of every game is going to be a real struggle for everybody. And every game should be competitive for the most part. Calston beating St. Paul's on Saturday as well, 53-0. And I said this before, and St. Paul's have got to realise this too. And I'm talking about St. Paul's, the players, not the coaches, because I believe the coaches understand what they have and the opportunity that they have as well. But St. Paul's is going to be humbled. St. Paul's is going to take some big losses. St. Paul's are going to have a string of losses, and some of them are going to be by big margins. But that's what was supposed to happen. Nobody just comes into the 1A and just dominates the first year, regardless of what kind of players you have. But this is where I think that the players have an opportunity to go, we are here, we made it here, our goal was to be here, so let's just play it like we belong. And sooner or later they're going to belong, and they're going to be a solid team. But this is not a 1 year thing, not even a 2 or 3 year thing. This is going to have to be consistently over 4 or 5 years, where they're going to have these situations where they're going to lose some big games. Sacred Heart's going to be another hard one. St. Kennigan's is going to be a hard one. Kings was going to be a hard one as well, but I think they have a team that can battle against Kings. I know Mags is going to be another difficult one. Graham is going to be another difficult one. De La Salle is going to be a big match for them, where they play similar to what De La Salle plays like, and so hopefully a really good learning curve for this team. And I'm glad that they had like a really hard game like Kelston boys right up in the front, just to set that standard of like, okay, let's just rise from here, instead of having some easy teams first off and then thinking that, oh no, we've got this. This is just every day. It's just like, then you get hit by a hard team, and then that reality falls quite bad. I'm glad that they had this game and this experience right off the bat. Otago boys winning 57-7 over Waitaki was really good. I hope I can watch that game too. I really want to see what that game was like, because Otago boys, I think, is a team that I think is going to be one of the strongest in the South Island this year. Nelson College beating St Andrews 34-22 is another good one. Whanganui Collegiate, they beat Hatopolta, I think it was like 105-0 or something like that. And the problem with that, I think, is because like you have a new coach to Whanganui Collegiate, then you have another new coach at Hatopolta. I think both coaches failed to realise the distance and gap that they had between the two squads, and then they had a game that was a cricket score and it shouldn't have been played. I think Whanganui should have probably set their second 15 to play, and to just so that you don't have scores like that. It's just not visually a cool thing to see, morally kind of that as well. But I mean, yeah, it's just one of those things. St. Peter's College won, beating Tangaroa 35-7. Better than last year's score that they had. I think it should have been, a bit more closer, but Tangaroa was a good side. I think they're a really good side. Like I said, Whangarei boys, Rosmini, 10-3 to Rosmini. Massey beat Orewa 55-0. Takapuna beat Manurewa 45-3. What is going on at Manurewa? Honestly, I'm going to start really looking into what's going on, because it's not a good thing. And then I saw them post up, we're looking for props, hookers, and something else, one of their school pages and stuff, and it's just sad to see. Yeah, sad to see. Northcote beat Massey second 15, 20-19. Long Bay beat Rosmini second 15, I think it was, or third 15, 40-17. Mahurangi Bay lost to Westlake Boys second 15, 43-0. Birkenhead lost to the third 15 of Westlake Boys 31-10, and Kaipara won 29-12 over Rosmini second 15 or third 15, one of those. Mags beat Dilworth 17-0, which I heard was a really good game. Trying to get someone that's got footage, because I really want to see what that game was like. Aotearoa won their first game in the 1B competition over Avondale 24-19. One Tree Hill and Southern Cross came right down to the last minute. Southern Cross winning 15-12. Otahu College and Tamaki College, which is usually a really close game, it kind of looked like that in this as well. Tamaki winning 24-5. Maclean's beat Sherman Hillary Collegiate 10-5. Botany Downs is another school that everyone should watch out for. It's probably a team that I think should have had a shot at also trying to make the 1A too, because the 1A as well with St. Paul's, because they won 53-0 over Waitakere. Howard College is another strong school as well, beating Mangere 56-5, and Mount Roscoe beating Ongehanga 19-10, which is actually a really big matchup too, because Ongehanga's got some players too. Mount Roscoe's got some players coming back as well. Tuakau won, beating Alfriston 27-10. Waiuku, who's a strong team in that competition, beating Papakura High School 34-5. And that's in the counties competition. Hauraki Plains defaulted to Rosehill College, and I don't think it was numbers or anything like that. I think it was travel, which is sad, because I wish, cancelling a game because of travel is like one thing, because it means that the boys are prepared. It's just like, we just got no way of getting there. And the Waikato Taumudu College beat Morrisville 27-19. Their competition starts this weekend coming up here in the Waikato competition, and there's a lot of good teams that are ready for that. Taumudu would be one of them. Matamata's another one that's on top. Tikawiti High School is another one to watch out for too. And I think they play Patadadu this weekend, something like that. Taupo Nui Te lost to Rotorua Boys second 15 20-5. Taupo should be a better team than I actually expected them to win, but they're a good team to watch out for. Western Heights High School beat Trident 27-5. Mount Maunganui College is the other one that I really want to watch out for too. They beat Te Taumata 48-14 in their competition down there in the Bay of Plenty. Now for the grading games in Wellington, St. Bernard's losing to Hibs. Hibs is a really good school this year. St. Bernard's, they still have their squad. They still have a squad. Hibs winning 27-12 is a surprise. I still think both of them should probably be in there and about kind of way, trying to get to that top side. Nainai beat Aotea College, which was a surprise, 29-24. Porirua College beat Upper Hutt College 29-14. Mana College beating Kapiti College 31-19, which was another surprise. Newlands College beating Taita College 31-17. Tawa College beating Bishop Viard 43-10. And then Hutt Valley High School losing to Paraparaumu College, which is a surprise. I really like Hutt Valley High School too. But I still think that there should be a combined team for that Porirua. There should be a Porirua combined team, and then those that don't make that combined team just go back to their schools, and that combined team of, a squad of like 30 or something like that plays that season out in the top side, in the premier side, because that Wellington competition needs more of their best players playing their best, other best players, instead of having a top four dominated comp and then the rest of the teams are just there to participate. Really, they should be doing something different up there, down there in Wellington. Kings High School getting a win over Wakatipu High School 36-0. South Otago High School beating St. Kevin's 44-10, which is really good to see. Mount Aspiring losing to to Otago second 15, 50-12. But Mount Aspiring should have been a lot better than that. I expected a lot more out of Mount Aspiring in a game like that. Dunstan winning 41-0 over Taieri College as well. Dunstan looks pretty strong. And that competition down there, Wakatipu, South Otago, Dunstan, and I was thinking about Mount Aspiring too. Maybe it was just a bad one-off game, but I expected them to be up there. But there's going to be a challenge between Wakatipu, South Otago, Dunstan, and Mount Aspiring, and I think they're going to be some really good games. I'm surprised Taieri's struggled that much in that game. I don't know, it'd be cool to see the game against Dunstan and Taieri, but that competition is going to be pretty good down there as well, with those teams really biting. And I actually think that those teams can handle someone like a John McGlashan side who's sort of starting to rebuild just a little bit again, and I think that they can actually post up some good games against them. So I'll be interested seeing if they have some of those games that I can watch. Please, everybody, add me to your huddle or to your VO or your YouTube, or send me the YouTube link if you guys have private pages, so I can watch the games, do some homework, see some players, report on them, and then tell the rest of the world about them too, so everybody can be in touch and have a good view of what first thing rugby is all about here in New Zealand, and the talent and superstars that we have coming up for the future. But that's everything from me, Herschel Ferron, High School Top 200. Please sign up, subscribe, $5 a month, hstop200.com. It's Monday morning meeting. Later, ball.